Hello crocheters, welcome to Crazy Cool Crochet. My name is Sylvia, and in this project we're going to be working a really fun shrug. I have done tutorials for several different shrugs, from a small bolero type to a really heavy, well, I shouldn't say heavy, but a really thick shrug using blanket yarn. That was super cozy, and everything in between. And with this one, I bring you yet another design. Before I continue to detail the materials list, I want to remind you all, please, watch the video. As much as I love, truly, I love getting your comments and your questions, and I get so many questions when the answer is right there in the video. For example, I get this a lot. How many chains do I start? For so many of these tutorials, I put the text right on the screen. How many chains for each size? Or how many rows? That kind of thing. And it's right there right at the very beginning. I am using, for this project, Yarn Bee Soft Secret, a number 4, medium weight yarn. Yes, you can use any number 4. I like this yarn in particular, and I've used it a lot in a lot of my projects because it's very soft. It's very drapey. It's not a thick number 4, and it's got a little sheen. Can you see the little sheen? And that really elevates the wearable. The color is called Cognac, like the liquor. I'm not even sure how to pronounce it. Measuring tape might come in handy. The hook I'm using is a 5.5 millimeter, and you'll need some scissors. For size small, you will chain 101. Then we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. The first one just shrank up on me, but it's right there. Second chain from the hook, single crochet. And then single crochet in the next 9 for a total of 10 single crochets. Then you're going to do half double crochets into the next 80 chains. Half double. 3 loops on the hook, pull through all 3. Half double crochet. Now you will finish out that row with 10 single crochets. And then chain 1 and turn. Now you're going to do 10 single crochets into your single crochets from the first row. Start in that first stitch. So now we're going to be working back loop only, half double crochets. And it is extremely important, crucial, that you enter the hook in the correct loop. So if you're looking at it straight on, you would think that this is your back loop, because there's your chains, right? That's what it looks like. That's deceiving. You have to turn this towards you a little bit. There's your chain. Okay, not that, that. So that this is your back loop. Very, very easy to get that confused with that. So just remember to turn this a little bit towards you so you can see your chains, and then you're working in the back loop. Back loop only, half double crochets. Work those all the way across for 80 back loop only, half double crochets. For size small, you will work for 116 rows, or 32 inches long. As long as we're talking about dimensions, this is 24 inches wide. Now, that's just for the panel. Don't get this confused with the dimensions of the shrug as it is worn. Those are just the dimensions for the panel. Take note that those single crochets that we've been doing on the edges, on the ends of the rows, that will actually form a border. The border is built in. Isn't that cool? And a total time saver. So this is how it looks as it is being worked. And this is it. The one panel, that's it. So when we go to seam, we need to turn this so now it's facing this way. And all you need to do is bring the top portion down to meet the bottom portion. And then to create the armholes, we're just going to seam a little bit right here. Okay, so there's the border and the border touching each other. And then we will use slip stitches to seam, and we're only going to seam 4 inches. That's all, because we want a nice wide armhole opening. At least that's how I want it. You can make a narrower armhole opening just by seaming a little bit further. To seam this, we are going to just use slip stitches. Okay, so take your hook, insert it into the other side, bring it through, tighten it up a little bit. Now you're just going to slip stitch into each stitch, going under the 2 strands on each chain. And just bring the yarn through. Let's do that again. 2 strands, 2 strands, just slip it right on through. That's the slip stitch. So just do that until you get to your 4 inches. It's easier to place a stitch marker on your 4-inch mark. I normally do just a little strand of contrasting yarn, and I'll admit I forgot to do that. So I'm going to have to go back and see where my 4 inches is. When you're done with that, just tie it off. Leave a little bit of a tail so that you can weave it under some stitches here to hide the tail. That secures your yarn. For newbies, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I finish this off. There's my last slip stitch. I will cut off the yarn. I do a chain that locks in your stitch, and then bring it through one strand, random strands, that's fine. You're just coming across a little bit. Now I like to do 3 chains to form a knot, as you will see. So there's, already did 1, 2, 3, pull the yarn through. I squeeze it down really, really tight. That forms your knot, and this is not going to unravel. There's your nice wide armhole opening. Do the same for the opposite side. Now that we have seamed both sides, we need to turn this right side out. Now we're going to form the shrug. And it's just a matter of opening this up. So bring this to the top. There's the back of the neck. And here's your shrug. There's your bottom. And that's it. How easy was this? Isn't this great? Now, you can just leave it as is. I would like to add a border to my armholes, similar to this. If you want to be done, you can be done. Now, before I do that, I do want to explain that for me, I thought this was not wide enough. Shrugs are not supposed to close by design. Cardigans normally close or button up or whatever. A shrug is left pretty wide open in the front. If you want more coverage for the front, then you would have done a starting chain longer, or easier yet, with this pattern, just use the next size larger. That will give you an additional 2 inches width and length. Okay, so this one was long enough to cover my rear, which I like to do, but I'm quite short, so you might want more length on yours. So then you can just go ahead and size up to the next size. Now for the border around the armhole, take your yarn. This is, the right side is facing up. So insert your hook into the bottom near the seam of the armhole. Leave a tail. Grab your yarn, pull it through, chain 1, and now do a single crochet approximately in every stitch all the way around. Just keep going until you come back to where you started. When you're back to where you started, slip stitch into that first stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to work a single crochet into each single crochet all the way around. Regular single crochet, just like we did for the border. And again, when you come back around to where you started, slip stitch into the first stitch, chain one, turn, and repeat another row of single crochets. And you can do as many rows as you like to whatever width you prefer for your border. So here is the shrug with the sleeve with the border and the sleeve plain, to give you an idea of what it looks like both ways, so you can decide if you want to go with the border on the armhole. I think it gives it a more polished look. This is more plain, so it's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and of course do the border on the other side. And this is it. Wasn't this just the easiest? So I hope you enjoyed this design, this tutorial, and that you'll go ahead and give me a thumbs up below the video. Add your comment, let me know what your thought is on this. And don't forget, if you want to support my work, if you could please head over to my Etsy shop, Crazy Cool Crochet us.etsy.com. Grab up the pattern. I would appreciate that so much. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure you come back for the next one.